Hi, I'm Dr. Bliss and I make beer sometimes. I want you to soak it all in. Just soak in the vibes, soak in the atmosphere, listen to the boiling kettle, because this is my last video in this kitchen because I am moving house. Which is exciting because I'm going to have a bigger kitchen, I'm going to have more space to brew. Don't worry, I'm still going to make videos. But yeah, moving house, so bear with me, this video might take a while to come out and there might be a little bit of a gap in videos, but I do have some really exciting beers planned, so definitely don't give up on me, I promise. If you stick around it'll be worth your while because I've got some really cool ideas coming. And today is one of them. Today is a really interesting beer. Not one that there's a lot of videos about, not one that gets talked about. So without further ado, I'm gonna go into the recipe of my cold brew white stout. So the idea behind this recipe is quite simple. It stems back to an April Fool's joke between two brewery owners, one of which is someone that we don't really talk about in craft brew circles anymore. Anyway, in one of their tap rooms, they had a black IPA on tap and someone in the tap room said, "Black IPA, what's next? A white stout." Now even the very concept of a white stout doesn't make any sense. It's physically impossible. But the idea is to brew a stout using all the standard stout recipe ingredients and methods, but without any of the roasted barley. Now the idea to get some of those roasty flavours back into the beer is by using coffee. Now coffee, being a roasted bean, has quite a lot of the same flavour kind of profiles as roasted barley would have. The difference is it's much stronger, so we can actually brew a very strong cold brew concentrate using this. This is Ethiopian coffee, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we can add that to the beer and that will give some of those flavours back without really affecting the colour of the beer. And that's the key point behind this beer. It's a bit of a mind bender. It has the colour of a pale ale, but the taste somewhat like a stout. So grain wise, we're starting off with 3 kilos of low colour Maris Otter. This is Simpson's Maris Otter. I wanted the low colour variant because I want this to be as pale as possible. I want the roasty flavours, but I want it to look like a pale ale. So yeah, this I thought was probably the best option for a base malt, so that you get the right kind of flavour, but also very, very low colour. Get amongst it. Now the next ingredient is an important ingredient in any stout, whether or not it be a fake stout like a white stout or a real, you know, American stout, Irish dry stout, whatever. All the stouts have got this. This is flaked barley. Now flaked barley is an incredible ingredient for a few different reasons. It adds body, it adds weight to a beer without really adding any malt flavours because it's not malted barley, it's just barley that's been flaked. Now the flaking process sort of does some of the things that the malting process would have done in terms of unlocking the sugars from within this, but doesn't have any of the flavours associated with malt. So yeah, a really great ingredient. We've got 500 grams of this to go in. Now the next bit of barley that I'm putting in is some biscuit malt. Some people might prefer to have used like Victory malt here. I always love the flavour of biscuit malt. I think it goes really well with sort of beers where you want to emphasise a malt character, and especially in the case of this beer I want to emphasise certain malt flavours and pair them up with certain, you know, coffee flavours and things. So yeah, I thought this would be a great addition. We've got 500 grams of this. And the final 2 ingredients are what I think makes this particular recipe kind of special and kind of unique. Now that is oats. Love me some oats. So I got 2 different kinds of oats to use today. Now this is golden naked oats. It's like a crystal malt for oats. It's awesome, it looks really cool. And yeah, it's just a really cool thing to add in. So I've got 500 grams of this. It's gonna give the oat kind of texture, kind of like if you've ever had oat milk, you know it's got that creamy texture. And also add some lovely sweetness as well. The final ingredient is also oats. These, look at this. This is probably not what you expected to see, is it? You expected to see a bag, didn't you? This, or these, are toasted oats. So these are just porridge oats that I put in the oven at 150 Fahrenheit for an hour. You can see there is a significant colour difference and there's also a significant smell difference. It smells like cookies. It's got this sort of, well, toasted oat smell. So I've got about 450 grams in here. So combined that makes about 1 kilo of oats. That is almost 25% of our grist as oats. It's a lot of oats. It's arguably too much oats. So I have a solution for that as well. These are rice hulls. Now, I've spoken about rice hulls many times on this channel, so I don't feel like I need to talk about rice hulls even more than I already have, but these help with drainage. Once you've done your mash and you need to get all of that liquid out of the grains and you need to rinse them out of the grains, these really help with drainage. Otherwise, there's so much oats, I'm basically making porridge. And have you ever tried to pass water through porridge? It's basically not possible. So, yeah, time to add them all in. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, I forgot to put the ring in. Oh no. Well, the card on my camera is dead, so it is 1 pint Stein time, unfortunately, from shaky cam. Now you might be wondering, with all these different flavours going around, we've got biscuit malt, we've got oats, we've got coffee from Ethiopia, what's going on with the hops? Because if you have too many flavours, you have no flavours. And that is a really good point. And that's why I've opted for Magnum.
There it is. Magnum. Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Now, for those of you who don't know what Magnum is, it's a hop from the Hallertau family. This says it was grown in Poland. It's a very high alpha acid, very neutral, basically bittering only hop. So you're not going to get any flavours from this. I mean, it does say it does have characteristics on the packet of pine and resin, but the reality is it's not going to be a late boil hop addition at all. You put this in 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and you've got your required IBUs. So for this recipe, we're putting in, how much are we putting in, baby? We are putting in only 13 grams. That should give me about 20 IBUs. Now, I prefer lower IBU beers, especially when it comes to things like stouts, personally. This is gonna give enough bittering for the balance that I'm looking for. So it's definitely not gonna be a bitter beer. I mean, we're mashing at over 68C at the moment. So it's gonna be a full-bodied, quite sweet beer, but 21 IBUs from Magnum should be spot on. We now have 10 minutes left in the boil. My kitchen is a mess. And I've got the chiller in, and I got the bright water in, which is, you know, Irish fining, moss thing, hot side finings. Everything seems to be going well, so we're just gonna need to cool down. Ambient temperature's like 16 degrees Celsius, so we should be able to get it into the teens, which should be absolutely fine. Slap a spunding valve on it. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna ferment under pressure, but if the temperatures do spike this week, I'd like to be able to just crank up that pressure a bit. But I think my intention is probably to try and just keep it in the high teens, low 20s maybe. Now, you might be wondering why I used Ethiopian coffee. One of the tasting notes for Ethiopian coffee is apricot. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that sounds familiar to you, because one of the tasting notes for Verdant IPA is also apricot. And this is the yeast that I've chosen to use for this brew. Now, some of you are going to be wondering, why am I using an IPA yeast for a stout? Oh, you should be using USO5. Oh, you should be using Nottingham. I do believe that Verdant, for some of their stouts, not all, but some of their stouts, also use this yeast. It's a great all-purpose ale yeast. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that, especially if you're using a ton of oats, and it's probably going to be quite hazy anyway, because you know, Verdant's maybe not the greatest flocculator in the world, but this is a perfectly fine. In fact, this is going to be a great yeast option for me, because we're going to get all of that creaminess, that sort of vanilla note, the apricot notes, the fruitiness as well. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be super unique, and it's going to taste amazing. I just know it's going to taste amazing. 19.7 degrees is probably about as cold as I'm going to be able to get it. The ambient temperature is around 22 degrees, so that's fine for Verdant IPA. It'll probably free rise within the next sort of 12 hours or so, and it doesn't look like the temperature's going to get too much hotter over the week, so it should stay under the 23 degrees. I shouldn't need to use any pressure or anything like that. So yeah, let's pitch the yeast and let's get it going. Future Dr. Bliss here. I didn't do a particularly good job at filming the fermentation itself, but I do have some pictures. Here they are, look, wow. Wow, yeah, it all went well. Standard Verdant IPA kind of fermentation was done within 7 days. And after 7 days, I decided it was time to add the cold brew. Where is my sanitizer? Why is it sometimes life in general just does not want to play ball with you, huh? So unfortunately my camera was having problems, so I had to film this on my phone in portrait mode. But just to talk about the cold brew coffee, what I did was add 28 grams of ground coffee to this 350 gram cafetiere. After 24 hours, I plunged the cafetiere, and as you'll see, I'm going to now add that cold brew via funnel straight into the Firmzilla. Cold brew coffee. On. All good. We'll do some purging. Here it is, the white coffee stout. And here it's going in. You'll have to forgive me for the not quite clean glassware. As you've probably just seen, this one bottle bombed. Oh, flip. Oh, my life. Oh dear. I'm making a huge mess and I can't do anything about it.
Can I get you some kitchen rock?
Yeah. I picked up the wrong one. This is one that I had a theory would probably be a bottle bomb. It had a lot of weird residue in it. This one seems to be okay, as I just poured a bunch of trub into it. So that was me not being careful enough. Almost copper, dark golden colour. Great fluffy head. It's going for aroma. It's interesting. It's almost Belgian-esque, but it's not. There's like an earthiness that you sometimes get from that. I know I'm smelling the coffee because I know it's there. I don't know if you would know it was coffee if you didn't already know that was going to be included. Let's go in for a taste. Oh my life! Wow, that is awesome. All my fears about it being a New England style white stout are completely gone. This is exactly how I imagined it would be. The mouthfeel is excellent. The whole beer overall is excellent. On the back end of it, I'm getting this not overpowering, but present coffee tones. But it's not like a coffee, it's just a nice sort of complex flavour. The beer is not at all bitter. It's not like a burnt coffee flavour. It's like a really rich coffee flavour mixed with a generous helping of sweetness. This is not a dry beer by any means. This is definitely sweet, but it pairs so well with all the different flavours. It's amazing. You get this fruity hit and then it fades into this sort of rich earthy coffee floral thing. It's awesome. Wow. I know I am going to be remaking this time and time again because this is a banger of a beer. And it's super unique. It just tastes really, really lovely. I'm going to drink so many of these. It's going to be so good. This summer is going to be awesome. Thank you for watching this video. Last brew in this house, but trust me, my new house, the potential is there. So I've got some exciting brews planned. I've got some exciting kit potentially planned as well. We're gonna have a great time. This is gonna be the year of the Doctor. So I'm Dr. Bliss, go have a beer.